Good evening. This is Mr. Gethers with RMS Radio. This is live on Tuesday evening. We are coming to you with a special broadcast with RMS Radio. Ladies, let's go ahead and let everybody know who we are and to say good evening to everyone. I'm going to start with you, Ms. Michaela.
Hi, I'm Michaela.
Skylar.
Hi, my name is Skylar.
Haley.
Hi, I'm Haley.
Lexi.
Hi, my name is Lexi.
And Patience.
Hi, my name is Patience.
Okay. And we have a special guest today starting off our broadcast. We have our very own Mrs. Lachey Smith-Craze. She is our winner of Support Staff of the Year in our building. So welcome to RMS Radio, Ms. Smith.
Thank you, guys.
All right, now, the RMS Radio team put together some questions to interview you to get your insight on your award. So, ladies, let's go ahead and get the ball started so everyone can get to know Mrs. Lachey just like we know her. Who wants to go ahead and start off the first question?
Okay, so one of the questions that I had for you was, what do you think you did to win Most Supportive Staff of the Year?
That's a great question. I believe it's because my coworkers saw all the hard work I've put in to support all of our students and families during this time of virtual learning, which included going on home visits, checking on students and family, helping connect families to technology resources and other community resources out in the community, helping transport technology items because, we didn't have students here in the building and we didn't always have staff here in the building. It was hard to connect families to get those technology issues fixed. So like a computer or a hotspot. So I did a lot of that, and then helping families navigate using technology. We have a lot of students that live with grandparents who aren't used to having to get on computers. And so going and helping them set up even their home internet and trying to figure out things. So I think a lot of just the hard work of being out in the community and with our families this year.
Okay.
Go ahead and jump in.
I would like to ask you is, what is Support Staff of the Year?
That is a good question as well. Support staff is an award that is given to someone who's nominated by their peers, so other teachers, other staff members here at Raytown Middle School, and it's a recognition of the hard work and dedication they put in to support Raytown Middle School students, families, and staff.
Next. Anybody else? Go ahead, Alexis. Yeah, just jump in.
What motivates you to help the staff at the school?
I went to school to become a school social worker. That was my end goal when I became a social worker, because I wanted to be able to help students and families recognize their own strengths during difficult times and be able to make a difference, and also be able to be there for our staff. And so meeting teachers and other staff in the building, principals that may just not understand something a family is going through, and being able to provide that social and emotional support to students and families.
Were you surprised to know that you won Support Staff of the Year?
I was very much surprised. I come to work every day to just do my job. I don't think that I did anything extra. I feel like I just did what was needed, especially in our time of virtual learning. I needed to change how I delivered things and how I supported our families and become more on that virtual side. So I just feel like I did what I would normally do, but I appreciate it definitely.
What motivates you to come to school every day and help others around you?
I think I kind of answered that of just, I went to school to become a school social worker. That was my end game. of becoming a social worker is wanting to be in the school and being able to help students and families realize their strengths and their potential, even if something hard is going on, and just being able to make a difference in our students' lives.
Do you think most students come to your support when they need it?
I think it kind of depends. I think students do come because they know who I am, and they'll come and ask for some support. But I think there's other students who might not even know who I am yet, even though I send out check-in emails. I try to do that, monthly, weekly, depending on the student. But I think it's kind of both. I think students know they can access me. And then I think there's some students that may not know that, they can come down to the counseling office and talk to me or one of our counselors.
Lacey, did you have your hand up? Good.
How does your position work with the Teacher of the Year winner?
So the Teacher of the Year winner is Miss Santana, who is one of the counselors here. And I work with her daily. We are in communication all the time because we share students. We both are working for the better good of our students. So whatever we can do to support them, we are there for them. So I think very much us working together as a team. I know we've had a couple of times people say the dynamic duo. So we're always working together.
That was a good question. And that also shows how in our profession, you got to collaborate when it comes to working with kids, because it does actually take a village to not only raise a child, but to educate a child as well too. And
that is so true. And I couldn't agree more. If you don't have great collaboration and relationships with the staff you're working with, it's really hard to support students and families.
And also when the students and families see the collaboration between us, it actually does build bridges between our entities as well as within their own household as well too. It also forges strong communication between families and parents too.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah. We have any other questions here for Miss Lachey, Miss Lachey Smith? I think we have like a few more on here. You asked some great questions. And I think the questions that you ladies asked actually digs into what the position is and why Mrs. Lachey Smith won this award. I think there's another question on here, unless you all wanted to ask it. Go ahead, Michaela, you got it.
When kids come to your support, do you support them?
When kids come for support, do I support them? Yes.
Yeah.
It just depends on what's going on in the moment of how that delivery might look. If it's like a crisis situation, it's going to look different than when a kid's coming down to meet with me individually. So everything that I do is really tailored individually to each of the students and how I support them.
Now, I have a question. I think as far as the process goes, you won the Support Staff of the Year award on the building level. What takes place after that? I think she froze a little bit. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm gonna restate my question. We had like a brief little hiccup with technology, but my question was on the building level, you won Support Staff of the Year. So what happens next after that? What does the process look like?
So after receiving this award, we have to fill out some paperwork. It's kind of like an application interview type thing. So I had to fill out information about myself, information about me growing up and like some of my favorite things and why I became, a school social worker. Kind of talked about like an educational impact paper. So I had to write a little bit of a paper that included information about myself. And then we meet with 3 judges from the community, and they asked us questions to see just more information about us and our dedication and why we were voted support staff for our school. And then after that, those judges take all the paperwork that we filled out, all the papers that we wrote, and then into consideration the interview that we did in person with them. And then they vote who is support staff of the year for the whole district. And then they'll announce that, I think, later this week or next week.
Okay. Yeah, so we should know if you are the district level support staff of the year. Right.
Yes.
Okay, cool, by next week. And then as soon as you get that award, because more than likely we're hoping that you get it, KUAW and RMS Radio will be the first one to do the interview. See, plug.
Sounds good. Sounds good. There are a lot of other great and amazing people who are up for this award as well. So,
well, that's the good thing about this school district is we have a lot of great individuals like yourself and Mrs. Santana, who won Teacher of the Year, who are working with our students. So hopefully, this contest or this award ceremony will showcase all the good people that we have in this district, because we need more positive press for our kids. Yeah. So are there any other questions for Ms. Smith? Well, Ms. Smith, we want to thank you for taking the time to come in and interview with RMS Radio, and we wish you the best of luck with this. Also, we will be interviewing Mrs. Santana, our Teacher of the Year, to kind of give you all a good look at what we have in this building. We have a lot of great talent in this building that matches with the great talent in this school district. So we thank you for being a part of this interview, and most of all, we thank you for being a part of this Raytown Middle School family. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
thank you so much for letting me come on.
Oh, anytime. Thank you much. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, Redtown Middle School. We're doing a broadcasting today, and we are going to be interviewing one of our Black History essay winners, Abigail Stewart.
All right. Well, Abigail is one of the winners of the first annual RMS Radio Black History Essay Contest. We had an essay throughout the school, and Broadcast Club sponsored it. The winner got a gift card, or will be getting a gift card, as well as the opportunity to read their essay live on the air. So, Abigail, do you have your essay ready to read?
Yes.
Okay. When you're ready, go ahead and read your essay to us, please.
I think it is important to have Black History Month because everyone needs to know the important things that African Americans have done so that the world is not divided by color. The world would be so different if African Americans did not stand up for what they believed in. For example, African Americans would not use the same water fountains as me if Martin Luther King Jr. did not have his speech. Another example is Rosa Parks. If she had not moved her seat, I probably would not be able to sit next to my African American friends on the bus. Judy Bridges is another great example because if she didn't go to the all-white school, I would not get to be around African Americans or get to socialize with them. Also, people like Jackie Robinson, who was the first black person to be on a Major League Baseball team. Because of that, African Americans can be in a Major League Baseball team now. Bessie Coleman was a big deal for African American women. She was the first African American woman to get a playing license. May Carol Jemison was the first African American woman to travel to space. There are only a few. Those are only a few examples of the great achievements of African Americans. African Americans and Americans still do not get along perfect, but way better than they used to. Also, Black History Month is important to African American kids.
Uh-oh. Did she freeze?
Happen again in the future. I know that some things in the past weren't very good, and African Americans fought for their rights and equality. It would be horrible if all the protests African Americans did for their rights went in the dirt. If separation occurs like it used to be, a lot of people would be devastated. People are still fighting for their rights now. Black Lives Matter is a big protest that is going on. The protest has 15 to 26 million people. 19 of them died so far. That is a small number, and it would be amazing if that number stayed that. The founder of Black Lives Matter are Patrice Cullors, Appel Tomati, and Elisa Garza. The protest started in July 2013. Through decades, African Americans have fought for their rights. One of the last reasons Black History Month is important is that African Americans need their own recognition for everything they have done for our civilization. I don't think it would be fair for the African Americans that died fighting for their rights. If we don't tell their story, people will not know that African Americans fought for their rights so bravely and fiercely. If African Americans did not do anything about their rights, life would be a lot different. African Americans are really important to our society. I think it is important to have History Month because Black Lives Matter.
Hey, good job. That was essay winner right there. Yes. Now, you did win the $25 gift card, and that gift card was courtesy of from a grant by the Music and More Foundation. The Music and More Foundation is all about putting arts and music and skills back in the schools, and this is a definite recipient of that. So Broadcast Club has a few questions to ask you about your amazing essay, Abigail. So I'm going to open up the floor for the staff to ask you a few questions. Go ahead. Patience.
Why did you write an essay about Black History Month?
I wrote an essay about it because it's a very good topic.
Next question. Okay, we got another question for her.
Is there anyone inspirational to you in the Black history?
Martin Luther King Jr.
And why would you say Martin Luther King Jr.?
because he was very powerful with a very powerful movement.
Okay. That's good. Any other questions? She's good. I know we have a few more on our list. I got one. I'll go ahead, Michaela. Go ahead. Did you have your hand up, Michaela?
What is the topic of your essay?
Okay, she said, what is the topic of your essay?
The topic was about how it's important to have Black History Month.
Okay. And Abigail, I'm just curious, what grade are you in?
Sixth.
Sixth grade student. Good job. All right, Abigail, are there any other questions for Mr. Abigail? Okay, so congratulations. Please hang in there because we want you to hear your classmates. So we have another Black History essay winner here. Lexi, would you mind introducing the next young lady?
I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm sorry. We have Mariah. She's our next Black History essay winner. Can you please read your essay?
Yes. It says, it is important to have Black History Month and celebrate those who had helped with the Civil Rights Movement. An example is Rosa Parks, who was an American that acted in the Civil Rights Movement, also known as the first woman of civil rights and the mother of freedom movement. As American, some white people helping the boycott protesting for the right for people to be treated fairly. As they walked, not taking the bus, in over 1 month, the buses were going low on money because not a lot of white people were riding buses. They had cars, and without the people they were protesting, they could not earn money. So all of the bus companies had to start letting African Americans sit in front with the white Caucasian people. Sadly, Rosa Louisiana McCallie Parks died on October 24th, 2005. Next is Martin Luther King Jr., who died at the age of 39 from getting assassinated. Martin Luther King Jr. was an African American who became the most visible spokesperson and the leader of the Civil Rights Movement. Martin Luther King Jr. helped organize a march on Washington where he delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech on the steps of Lincoln Memorial. In 1968, King was planning a national opportunity Washington, D.C. to be called Poorest People Champion. When he was assassinated on April 4th, his death was followed by riots in many U.S. cities. Hundreds of streets in the U.S. renamed after him, and the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. You heard of Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King Jr., but have you heard of Ruby Bridges? At the age of 6, joined the Civil Rights Movement. That's right, Ruby Bridges was only at the age of 6 when joining the Civil Rights Movement. She became the first African American student in the integrate an elementary school in the South. How did she get this way? Born on September 8th, 1954, Bridges was the oldest of 5 children. When Ruby was 2 years old, her parents moved from their family to New Orleans, Louisiana, in search of better work opportunities. In 1959, Ruby attended segregation and New Orleans kindergarten. The school district created an entrance exam for African American students to see whatever they could to complete the academy all-white school. Ruby and 5 other students passed the exam. Her parents were torn about whether to let her attend all white William Protest Elementary School a few blocks away from their home. Her father resists fearing for his daughter's safety. Her mother, however, wanted Ruby to have the education she needed. Two of the other students decided not to leave their school at all. The other 3 students were sent all white make the elementary school. Ruby and her other mother were escorted by federal marshals to the school every day. The school year, she walked past the crowd screaming victorious slurs at her. In 1999, Ruby Bridges Foundation to promote tolerance and create change through education. In 2000, she was made an honored deputy marshal in federal in Washington, D.C. Although this is only 3 examples, there is more ones that Black History Month is important.
Okay. Yeah, another good essay. So, just like with you, Miss Naria, I'm saying your name right? Naria? Okay. RMS Radio has some questions for you as well, too. Go ahead, ladies.
Why did you write an essay about Black History Month?
I wrote an essay about Black History Month to basically explain what did the civil rights movement people do for us and how they made this future work.
Okay, good. All right. Do we have another question?
If you could talk to any African American, dead or alive, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I would talk to Ruby Bridges and ask her how was she feeling when she walked into the school.
And yeah, you know what? This is a strong possibility. You probably could talk to her because I think Ruby Bridges is still alive right now. That was a good question. Okay. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. All right. We have another good question. Okay.
Who inspires you in the Black community?
Ooh.
The person that inspired me the most was Martin Luther King Jr. and how he was so brave to speak in front of more people than he could ever.
Okay. And thank you for answering those questions, both of you. And just like Ms. Abigail, Nara, you are also a winner of a $25 gift card as well, too, courtesy of a grant provided by the Music and More Foundation. So congratulations to you as well. And also you got notoriety reading your essay on the air, just like Abigail did as well, too. Now, what grade are you in?
I'm in 6th grade.
Okay. And you young ladies, I know, right? I'm impressed. I do want to throw out a plug. I will be remiss. RMS Radio and myself had an extreme amount of help from Mr. Donnell Fletcher. Mr. Fletcher is a history teacher, social studies teacher, and also a basketball coach in our building on the 6th grade floor. He has been a strong support with RMS Radio as well as with this Black History Initiative. So we want to thank you, Mr. Fletcher, for not only assisting us with this, also with helping us get these winners as well too. So we want to thank Mr. Fletcher live on the air too. So Mr. Fletcher get some claps as well too. So thank you, Mr. Fletcher. Also, ladies, we want to thank you, Ms. Abigail and Ms. Naria, for joining in. And thank you for reading your essays as well too. So we will have your gift cards ready for you when you come to the school. Ms. Abigail, we will set you up with yours as well too. So ladies, thank you for coming in on the air. And we look forward to hearing more good things about you. Congratulations.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
All right, that's been another edition of RMS Radio. Ladies, excellent job.